It's time to bring in Mike Cozzi. Morning, Mike.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm good.
All right. Now, something has happened that we have let slide the past couple of days.
We did?
Yep.
What's that?
The New York Knicks are on a 3-game winning streak.
Yeah, stop the presses.
Honest to God. That gets them to 10 wins on the season.
Yeah, watch out.
But now, finally, there's a team worse than them in the NBA.
Who's that?
The Atlanta Hawks, 7-27.
Wow.
But look at this. There's two other teams that have 10 wins. The NBA is getting a lot like the NFL. The seventh place team in the standings in the conference where the Knicks play,
The East.
the East, is the Brooklyn Nets, and they're under 500, 16-17.
At least they're near 500.
Yeah. But out of 15 teams, 8 are under 500 in the conference.
That's a good product.
Same problem over at the NFL, to be honest with you. You know, I mean, there's like 5 or 6 decent teams, 2 or 3 really good teams, and then the rest stink.
Well, I could tell you the problem with football, basketball, baseball, and hockey. You know what it is?
Too many teams.
That's exactly correct.
Yeah.
You win the prize today, Marshall.
Yeah, no, it's true.
There's too many teams. It's all about the dollar. It's not about the product.
And the talent is spread too far and wide. It's like having a peanut butter sandwich that you started off with a cracker, but you still got the same amount of peanut butter going on the sandwich.
I go the other way. I like putting my peanut butter on thick, so that's like digging into the Skippy jar 3 times as opposed to only going through a half.
It's apparent.
Same thing.
It's apparent in most sports.
See, but people don't understand that. They don't understand. They think more is better. It's not. It's definitely not. When you have more teams, the talent level gets thinner as you go through it.
Yeah.
And the less teams you have, the better talent you have. So, but I don't understand what's so hard about that concept that people can't get it.
All right, Yankee right-hander Domingo Germain, who missed games last year, will miss 63 more games this year because
almost half a season.
Yeah, because of the domestic violence policy.
So you figure 63 games. Is that 63 games he can't play in the majors, or 63 games of inactivity?
It's 63 games. He has to sit the first 63 games of the regular season.
So does that mean he can't play in the minors either?
Can't play anywhere.
So you figure 63 is going to be more like 90.
Yeah. Right. So anyways, he was suspended last year, but they've continued that suspension this year. So
there's got to be more to that than meets the eye.
Well, we'll see.
There's got to be more than that because it's a league suspension, right?
Yeah, and what's funny is I tried to look why the Yankees couldn't. The Yankees cannot fire him while he's under suspension.
So that's another thing. I mean, are the Yankees even going to keep him?
Yeah, I don't think so. But they can't do anything until the suspension is over.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
Because that would try to almost void a suspension if he were to try to sign with another club.
Now he's suspended without pay, right?
Yep.
Does that suspension pay come out of their salary? Do they still need to hold that money?
No, they still need to hold that money.
Wow.
That's why a suspension like that is so important. It ties up payroll. The player can't play, and
it's dead money.
Yeah. So I wouldn't think that when it's over.
I don't think he was making in standards. I don't think he was making that much.
Yeah. But I don't think he'll. I think you will see that he will not play with the Yankees again.
I agree that. I'd agree to that.
All right, let's go on to the football this weekend.
The foosball.
Foosball, that's right. The devil. The devil. All right, on Saturday, we have at 4:35 the Bills at the Texans. And then on Saturday at 8:15 we have the Titans at the Patriots.
Now, it's 6:30 in the morning, so I'm not drunk.
Yeah.
Well, I very rarely drink anyway. But didn't it used to be an AFC and an NFC game each day?
Now it's AFC
now
one
it's
day.
just one conference.
Yeah, and then the next day it's the next conference.
So that's supposed to be better.
In my opinion, it stinks. But anyways, that's our opinion anyway.
Yeah.
So
because usually the teams that played Saturday and win play the following Saturday.
Yeah.
So now somebody's at an advantage over somebody else.
Right. This is crazy.
It's who knows? Maybe that's the way it's on Madden 2020. I don't know.
So the Bills and Texans, Titans and Patriots on Saturday. I will, for the heck of it, take the Texans and the Patriots.
All right. Well, we're half right. I'm taking Buffalo in New England.
All right. And then Sunday, January 5th at 1 o'clock, the Vikings and Saints, and 4:40 the Seahawks at the Eagles. On Sunday, I'm going to take the Saints at home against the Vikings. There will be no miracle once again, and I will take the Seahawks at the Eagles.
So you're taking Seattle because you hate the Eagles, but I'm taking Seattle because they think they're going to win.
No, actually, there's only one reason I'm taking Seattle. Is because all the injuries the Eagles have. I don't hate the Eagles. I hate the Cowboys.
Seattle's got no running backs.
I know.
I mean, that kid played pretty good. Their rookie played pretty good against the 49ers last week. Mr. Skittles is pretty much a non-entity. He scored a touchdown, but the kid could have scored from where he scored from. I'm with you on both games. I'm taking New Orleans and Seattle. New Orleans is a threat that can win the NFC, and Seattle just barely got beat by San Francisco on Sunday night, and the Eagles are no San Francisco, so I'm going with New Orleans and Seattle as well. So we're the same on 3 out of the 4 games. The only difference is the first one, Buffalo and Houston.
All right, and I really don't hate the Eagles. You know why I don't hate the Eagles? They've played to their potential. The Dallas Cowboys always are for America's team. They're just the Cowboys lately. I just
now they didn't fire Garrett yet, did they?
No, but they're going to.
That's bad. That's bad business.
It is. It's why hang the guy up? Why?
If I'm Garrett, I come out and I say publicly, which that will get him fired. I wish that they would make a decision one way or the other. I guarantee if he comes out publicly on TV of some sort and says that, he'll be fired within the hour. But he needs to do that because what Jones is doing to him is 100% wrong. And the Cowboys, they have the most talent in the NFC East. They have the most talent. But in the same breath, you can say they're the biggest underachievers in the NFC East. So the Cowboys need a strong coach who's going to kick these guys in the pants and take away their baby rattles because that's what they need to do to the Cowboys. The Cowboys are everybody going in a different direction, nobody going in the same direction. And it was obvious that Garrett couldn't get them all on the same page, but they need a strong-willed coach that can do it. And good luck to you to find one.
Yeah. All right, do we have any racing?
Yeah, we got racing this weekend. We got a lot of racing. There's a lot of stakes tomorrow at Gulfstream where there will be no rain. So we're going to start there in the 7th race. It's the Grade 3 Kitten's Joy running for 100,000 and 7.5 furlongs on a turf. Now, with that being said, I'm handicapping these races for the way that they've been running there the last 2 days on a turf, which is saying you need speed to win the race. So it's been a big speed bias down there. So in this race, I'm dropping down to the inside with the 1-horse Get Smokin'. This horse has good early speed, has a real good workout at Palm Meadows coming into this race. 4 furlongs and 48-1 around the dogs, and it was the 3rd best work at 56. For people that don't know what the dogs are, they're nothing but more than traffic cones, but they're set up a distance away from the rail. And if you know anything about racing, everything's timed with electronic timers around the track. It doesn't matter how far those cones are, the timers work the same way. So the further you are away from the cone, from the rail with the timers, the further you're actually running. So 48 around the dogs is a real good work. So we're going to use the 1 Get Smokin'. And another horse coming into this race, just breaking his maiden, is the 9-horse Summer to Remember, working good at Palm Beach Downs for Todd Pletcher. So we're going to go with a 1991 exacta in the 7th tomorrow, and that race is at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The 9th race, which is at 4 o'clock, is another 7.5 furlong race, the Ginger Brew. It's the sister race. The 7th is for Colts and Geldings. This one's for fillies. Couple horses I'm looking at in here. The 4 horse is the favorite at 9-5. These horses are really closely matched. They're lightly raced fillies. They can improve at any time, and I'm looking for the improvement here, so I'm not going to go with 9-5. First horse I'm looking at is the 5 horse, Our Little Jewel. This horse is 15-1 morning line. Ran a pretty good race at 2-1. Was the favorite in the juvenile turf down at Gulfstream Park West, also known as Calder. Prior to that, broke her maiden by 2.5. Since this horse has got blinkers, has been showing more speed and has improved. And I could look for more improvement out of this granddaughter of Sunday Silence. And anything with Sunday Silence on the turf for me is a must play, because I think he's the best turf sire that I've seen in a long time. So we're going to go with the 15-1 shot to 5, Our Little Jewel. Another horse I'm looking at is the 10 horse trained by Josie Carroll. This horse broke her maiden last time out December 8th at Gulfstream Park, sitting just off the pace at 8-5. 12-1 is another luxurious bet here. So we're going to go with a 5, 10, and we're going to throw the 12 in there too, trained by Christopher Clement. This horse is 1-for-1, gets Lasix for the first time tomorrow. And if you look in the running lines, the 6 horse Osaka Girl came back to win out of that race on New Year's Day down at Gulfstream. So 3 horse box here with the 5, 10, and 12. And the last race we're going to do for the day is the Mucho Macho Man 1 mile, 1 turn, $100,000 race. We're going to go with 2 horses in here. One is the 5, Ashar. This horse is a $650,000 purchase, won first time out at Belmont. Came back in early November in the Nashua at even money. Didn't pick up his feet at all. But the horse that won that race, Independence Hall, is probably the best 3-year-old training in New York. Won the Jerome on New Year's Day at 1-9, is as good as a horse can win. There's no Independence Halls in this race. And again, at 10-1, I'm going to use the 5. But my top pick in here is the 1, South Bend. Probably the only time you hear me say anything good about South Bend when it's about the horse. This horse ran 3 times going 1 turn at Churchill and Keeneland and came out of the race 3-for-3. Tried to stretch him out, going a mile and 16ths in the Kentucky Jockey Club at Churchill Downs closing weekend. Caught a sloppy track that day, showed some early speed and faded. Don't know if it was the slop or the distance, but I know this horse loves 1 turn, sits the rail, saves ground. This horse is going to be my top pick in the Mucho Macho Man. So we're going to go with the 1, South Bend on top, and the 5, Asher underneath, in what could be a pretty good paying exacta if we're right. So I think there's 5 or 6 stakes races at Gulfstream tomorrow. So it's a pretty good day for racing down there. The weather's supposed to be nice. If you got nothing to do and you don't want to watch football yet, go play the races, because the first game starts at 4:30, and I think the races are done at Gulfstream at 5.